All right, peace, body. Greetings. This is Kai of Kai and Y007. Appreciate you coming through. So I hope all is well. I'm doing good. I ran in here right after finishing a quick little live stream. Well, with this one, I am going to be discussing Dr. Umar Johnson. And for those that don't know, he is considered the prince of Pan-Afrikanism. And he is a certified clinical psychologist. Some controversy stirs up with him because of his strong points of views. He is anti-racism, etc., and he's been a big leader in the community. And I'm going to have some things to talk about, specifically the snow bunny crisis that he speaks of, and he's against. He is against. I could get it out. Interracial dating, and among other things. So I'm going to get right into that, and feel free. It's an open chat room. You can speak how you like, as long as you keep it at least respectful enough to where I don't have to take action. I don't like doing that. We're all adults. This is an adult channel. So hopefully you can do that. But I do invite engaging conversation. We all have our beliefs and our feelings, so there's no reason to be hiding it. We should be able to discuss things, okay? So as you can see by my thumbnail here, I thought this was adorable too. Let me get a little background flow going, let my stream warm up. Mic check, mic check. There we are. Welcome to Kai and Y007. I thought this thumbnail was so cute. So this is about Dr. Umar and his snow bunny crisis. Discussions he's had started sparking up again too. So it has to do with interracial dating and being against it. Let me turn this down just a bit. All right. So how y'all doing? Hope everybody is doing good. Sometimes I can see y'all, so I'll be trying to respond. All right. So what I want to do was show some footage to show, who Dr. Umar Johnson is. Some people may be unaware, but I know a lot of people do know of him, and you're knowing of him more and more and more. So I'm going to get right into that. Just give me a moment. I did a piece on him a while back where I broke down who he is and some of his great achievements. So he sparks a lot of controversy, but it's something we all think about sometimes, or we've discussed. And a lot of things have to do with race and class, damn near everything. Whether we wanted to or not, it's been implemented. So just like myself, I'm anti-racism, and we're going to get started. Just give me a moment. Hello, Habari. This is KY007, and thank you for tuning in. This is my February 2022 Black History Presents. An honorable legend named Dr. Abdullah Johnson. Dr. Johnson is born in the United States of America on August 21st, 1974, in North Central Philadelphia. Among his many credentials, he has become a world-renowned speaker, an author, licensed school psychologist, an activist aiming to improve his community. He also holds a doctorate in clinical psychology. Dr. Johnson is also known as the Prince of Pan-Afrikanism. Pan-Afrikanism is an ideology that believes all of those of African descent need to unite for full success. Dr. Umar Johnson has been a very strong, powerful force for the Black community and also wanting us to keep ties with our natural native country, Africa. Africa is the best land in the world. It has some of the richest resources and people and wildlife as well. All right, so I want to do that as a quick breakdown of Dr. Umar Johnson and who he is. And most recently, just maybe last week, some days ago, he met with a comedian, Donell Rawlings. You may know him from the Dave Chappelle show, and he does great stand-up. He brought him on there. He's very silly in his conversation with Dr. Umar Johnson, but they talk on some things, so I do want to just share some of this for commentary purposes, and I appreciate y'all being here.
Are exclusively to blame for that. Without question, the war against Black men is the reason why our sisters have had to raise the children, by themselves. But be that as it may, the fact remains that 67% of our children are raised by women alone. And so when a Black woman has to raise the children, play daddy, and mom, pay the bills, deal with her own issues medically, psychologically, and otherwise, and then turn around and be told that she's not humble enough for men, I can understand why sisters might react to that negatively.
But Umar, don't you think that men need to be men? Don't you think that men need to step to the plate? Don't you think that men need to be responsible for their kids? I have a young son.
Do.
I have a young son right now, and my dad passed away 4 years ago. I have a 9-year-old son. And I remember my dad chose a lifestyle. He was a street guy. He chose a lifestyle that didn't give him an opportunity to spend as much time with all of his kids. I can actually count the memories that I have with my father on my hand. Good memories. Yes. I'm not shitting on him or anything. And now with me having a son, I told myself, I made a pledge to myself that my son is going to have endless amount of memories, and I won't be that dad that my dad was. I looked at my son the other day at 9 years old, and I remember at 9 years old, my father was locked up. I can't even imagine that. So as much as I understand that you say we need to celebrate our Black women or whatever, but I do think that men need to step to the plate more and hold those responsibilities, be loyal to their women, and take care of their kids. Do you also think, this is what I think too, do you think that the Black community is the biggest threat to the Black community?
It's the second biggest threat. And the reason why the Black community is not the number one threat to itself is we are not organized enough to be the number one threat to ourselves.
So how do we get organized? Omar, how do we get organized? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be straight honest right now. I get so frustrated with our community because we do know the problem, but we don't have the solution. When do we, as Black people, get our shit together and say enough is enough? I saw another post you had said something about, I guess the nail people. Some you did. What was it? It was about us running like nail salons. Why don't we do this? Why don't we support? Yes. Why don't we support ourselves? And why don't we get managers to say, fuck this, something has to change? Because people look at you as this is what, and I talk a lot. I'm excited about this. People look at you like Umar knows all the problems. On his platform, he talks about all the problems, but what are the solutions to the problems?
Institutions are 50% of the solution. And what I mean by that, Brother Donell, we need to create our own infrastructure that we used to have back in the days of Black Wall Street, the Tulsa, the
Hopefully I don't have to end this, y'all. There's something really messed up going on.
So forth and so on.
Doesn't even
when we
sense.
had our own,
pissed.
We feared much better.
Why did we lose it?
We still
how did we lose it? You said when we had our own, how did we lose our own? How did we leave that mentality of the Black Wall Street?
White supremacy came and destroyed it. White supremacy came and destroyed it. Systemic destruction of independent Black communities. But with that being said, though, we also have to keep in mind that the second and third generation of children from those Black Wall Streets did not value them enough to go back and rebuild them. Once integration came, the grandchildren of these Black Wall Streets, many of them decided that I would much rather live in a white community. I would much rather go to a hospital in a white community. I would much rather shop in a white community.
But why is that,
integration?
Why?
Integration was the economic destabilization of Black America.
But then isn't that a case of us not supporting ourselves? And I look at it,
self-love is at the heart.
When you
self-hatred is at the heart of every problem we have in Black America. It's the reason why when there's a police killing, we riot. And there's nothing wrong with rioting because you need to get the attention of the power structure. So I'm not against a riot, but the riot, the revolt never becomes a revolution. It never becomes an economic revolution. It never becomes a political revolution. It never becomes a cultural revolution because there's not enough love there.
But that's
one thing you need to proactively build for your community is love. Because when you love each other, you don't mind how much money you put in.
But then
when you love each other, you don't mind how much time you put in. When you love each other, you don't mind how much you sacrifice.
But Dr. Umar, what you're saying is
don't have enough love to work together.
But what you're saying is, again, to my point, that's the problem. What is the solution? I'll give you an example. I'll use Spike Lee as an example. You know, everybody like this, Spike Lee is supposed to be one of the best directors, making the most money, producing the most projects and shit, right? And he was down with everything black, black actors, black so-and-so. But when it came down for Black people to put up or shut up, guess what? They didn't go to the theaters. Guess what? They bought this shit DVD, bootleg and shit. But if we know that the problem, what is the solution to this? Because people can say we can talk the shit all we want, but what is the change?
The solution is we have to institutionalize our communities. It is the systems that are destroying Black people. The medical system, criminal and justice system, miseducation system. Let's take education, for example. Every state in America gives you the right to operate your own schools. And we have a rich tradition of independent Black schools, a very rich tradition that was partly destabilized with the rise of the charter school movement. But with that being said, Brother Donell, one thing that every Black person agrees on, we might not agree on Kamala and Trump. We might not agree on Obama and Biden, but we all agree that the public and charter schools of this country are misserving our children. We agree
my son go to a charter school. My son go to a charter school.
In our community?
My son go to a
goddamn love isn't there.
But my son go to a charter school, man.
Calm down, Donell. Damn.
No.
Calm down.
It's all white people and Asians and gay people in that school, and it's gonna give him the best chance to win in life. My son asked me, I do a benefit for my son's.
Okay, so you see where the conversation is going. So what surprises me is that when people bring Dr. Umar on their show, you need to do your research. You know how you know that somebody is not the quote unquote pro-Black or isn't in tune that much is when they ask questions like, okay, so you really mean nobody can date? So you really against? It's like they don't believe it. Believe the man when he's saying it. So it just shows an ignorance to me and people too that just don't quite do their research because they all ask the same questions. His answers are not going to change. So it's like, do you want to have the conversation with him, honestly, or what? Because he's willing to. So this is how he feels too. And he, what the thing that I don't like that I have to say is when, I don't like hearing people say, I'm not dating outside my race because I'd be done got in trouble. If you wanted to date outside your race, date outside your race, but do it for the right reason. You can't have a mindset saying, you know what? I don't want my own. I want one of them. Instead of saying, no, I met someone who is not my race, not my background at all, but I'm digging that person and we like each other. That's different. There's a difference with the passport bros and the divesting chicks that the mindset is telling them, because they're set in their way. They're saying, I'm not dating my own. Y'all not good enough. I'm going to sing elsewhere. Okay. Not only that, I want to keep bragging about it. I want to keep talking about it instead of just moving on and doing it. Those are the things that don't make sense to me. I've never really been engaged in any of those channels, panels, or any of it because it's ridiculous to me. Love, true love. When it's there, you'll know it's there. So it's like, are we really being honest with ourselves when it comes to interracial dating? Because it feels like we're not. We all have something inside of us that we may stereotype other races, not just a race. So to pretend we don't is a lie. I don't live with any lies. To have a good relationship with someone, you do need to know them and know where they come from. What I don't appreciate is people, two races mixing and having a child, and then the child's confused because they need to be taught all the culture they come from. So I don't know if y'all understand that. When there's two different races, my whole thing is you have a responsibility to make sure your child knows who they are. When you don't, you have the most confused, biracial, multicultural, whatever you want to call them, and some of us, whatever people in the world, is confusion. The confusion starts at home because you're not teaching them who they are. I think when people know who they are, it's going to matter less who their parents are. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, what race and what race is this? So I have a slight different perspective on it in interracial dating. So I'm going to continue with some of the conversation that they had. And y'all can feel free to chime in. I know white people be over here. Y'all hide, but sometimes y'all come out. You guys, a lot of white people don't really take to black. You guys like us a little bit, but the way you were taught or whatever's going on with a lot of you guys when it comes to racism, you don't want to come out from the bushes sometimes, I would like to say. The ones that do tend to be so racist that you guys are so offensive with your comments in the live chat or your comments during after a video or something. So I know y'all have these ideas running around in your head. So now's the time to share them. This is an open chat room that I have. I don't tolerate extreme nonsense, but I could tolerate some nonsense because I know it's going to come. I expect it. But what I seek is people to develop a higher understanding and for us to elevate our minds so that we will understand what our differences are and our similarities, but find some sense of harmony through it all. That's what I seek. Now we'll continue. This is, again, Donell Rawlings. He's a comedian, but you see everybody's doing podcasts. Everybody thinks they're interviewers. Like none of y'all, half of y'all ain't even interviewers. But he cool. Hold on. We're going to finish this.
School, right? It's a public school, but it's one of those schools that people buy property in the area just so their kids can go to that school. And I had to do a benefit, and I said, I'm a little nervous. I said, I'm a little nervous about doing this show. He said, why? I said, because doing the show in front of the teachers and the principals and everything. He said, Daddy, just do what you normally do, but don't curse, right? And when he said that, I wanted to say, what the fuck you mean I can't curse? I was like, it's cursing that got you in this school. I said, it wasn't me hanging around in the schoolyard going, it looks like this schoolyard could use a little bit more diversity, which I knew existed. I had to go up there like this. Where the motherfucking black people in here?
Right. Well, charter schools have a very interesting history. Charter schools were not originally founded to serve black children. They were founded to serve white children.
Right.
And when black people started opening up charter schools, and of course, Philadelphia We are the first Black charter schools in the country, and we have the most charter schools in the country here. But at the same time, we also have the most charter schools that have been closed down too. So they systemically target Black charter schools to sabotage and shut them down because the charter school movement was never meant to serve our kids. But the bigger issue, though, is that charter schools are still public schools. They're still publicly funded.
Right.
Okay. What we need is independent schools where we control the curriculum, we control the design, and we control exactly what our children are being taught. There's not enough love there. There's not enough love for us to come to give and buy up some of these abandoned schools.
Now, speaking of abandoned schools, Dr. Umar Johnson did purchase 2 schools. He did that through public fundraising. He also only fundraises with Africans, Black people. He doesn't accept contributions from other races. I'm curious about that some more, so I'm going to dig into that too at some point. I get the point he's making. He wants it to be totally funded by his own people, for his own people. So the school was purchased in, I have to look that up again too. It hasn't been 10 years yet, right? I'm not being funny. It's been 5 to 6 years, something like that. If you heard that, you'd be like, no, that's not how long it was. So that's what's going on now. I just lost my train. All right, with Dr. Umar, okay, in the school. Now, what I will say too is people say we have a lack of love. Black people do not have a lack of love. They don't have a lack of love no more than any other race. Just because they smile through their BS, that doesn't make a difference. And I expect Dr. Umar to talk more positively about his own people when it comes to how we really feel about each other. There's nothing like Black people being around Black people. So we're going to stop playing. Stop thinking that because we have a higher crime rate to an extent in inner city communities where there has been gun violence from time to time, it may be more off the Richter scale than others, but that doesn't mean that as a whole, Black people are mostly dislikeful toward each other, or there's not enough love between them to do anything right. That's so not true. And the more you speak of that with your tongue, the more you are going to insinuate that, and the more it does become a reality to some, even though it's not. So you will never hear me say stuff like that. Oh, Black people just don't like each other. Well, we hate each other. So that's the goofiest ish I ever heard. You're a goofy if you believe it. You're a goofy. And if I'm offending anyone that's listening, you're a goofy. But stick around with me, you will elevate. I'm not playing no games with nobody. So there's certain word salad I'm not stomaching it. I wouldn't dare eat it. Black people have had a harder time in a lot of areas. So yes, we have chips on our shoulders sometimes. That doesn't mean we can't come together collectively. We have done it plenty of times, and we're doing it now, and we will do it time and time again. You can never say Black people are this or that. We overpopulate. We're always not over. That doesn't mean there's too many of us. That just means we're always the majority. We've been the majority from day one when we were the first humans on this planet, Earth. Therefore, it would be totally incorrect to say that Black people just don't do this. Black people just, you're looking at such a small percentage that you don't have a right to even say that because it's incorrect. So if you're really going to go by the general population of Black people, you have to account all of us then. And if you really truly do that, you won't say what you said. And the rhetoric that goes on here on YouTube and wherever else, you wouldn't say that if you really knew what you were talking about. So I had to say that. So I'm gonna let them finish. I might add something else, but sometime when I get rolling, I might have. Let me see what you guys voted. So I put in the chat that a question. So I posed a question to y'all. Is interracial dating a problem? Something that just doesn't work out. It's not going to work out, basically. Because sometimes add a little more detail into the questions I ask may help, because some of y'all be like, well, what do you exactly mean? So I try to, you got to do the question as short as possible, but to the point. So is interracial dating a problem? Something that just doesn't work out. 38% of y'all said yes. And 12% said no. So the 50%, which took the highest of the votes, is saying, I couldn't care less, do your thing. So the people that did vote are saying like, hey, I don't care. I don't care about it. Or I should have said, we can do what we want to do. I shouldn't have said, do your thing. Because are you saying other people should go ahead and just do what they want to do? How do you feel about interracially dating? Would you interracially date? You know, would it be something that would be a conscious effort to do? Or are you someone that's would like to date interracially, but you won't because you think you're going to be in trouble? That's what I can't stand with people when they say, like, a black man will be like, yo, you know, I leave them white girls alone, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the police, man, no, I leave the white girls alone, you know what I mean? Shoot, you know, it'd be trouble that end up coming for people. You're not going to date the woman that you want, if you have a woman in particular, or you're not even going to attempt to date a white woman because you're scared of the repercussions. To me, you're not really man enough then. So I wouldn't even care. I'm not white, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't care. I don't understand why people use someone else's reaction to make their decisions for them. That doesn't make any sense. So that's why I question, well, why would you interracially date? Like, what would cause you to? Oh, if I see someone I like that looks good, I would like to get to know them. You know, and if they happen to not be my race, then so be it. So maybe you feel like that. But it's like, I don't know. It's kind of strange. Also, Dr. Umar mentioned this before too, that black men have the highest rate of dating outside their race. Also, we'll just say it, black men mostly date white women outside of their race. They ain't really dating nobody else. They're not. See, the Indian culture, they know to protect their women. And in a way, it's too much, but they protect them. You barely see an Indian woman shopping by herself, right or wrong, y'all. When the last time you seen an Indian woman just walking, just doing anything by herself? She usually has another woman with her, or she's got her husband. Let's stop playing. So then we wonder why we have such an imbalance and such a gender war, especially between black and white, black people, which makes absolutely no sense. So it's like, we are at odds, well, some of y'all are at odds with one another. And it's like the solution is to jump outside your race. That's never the solution. That's never the solution, because it's like you're running away from your problem. If your problem are your own women, you're a problem, because it's up to the men to have more control over their women. Does that mean come beating up upside the head with billy clubs like the cavemen used to do? No. But we are your women. I'm a queen, you're a king. Whether all of us admit it or not, we're still in this together. You can leave if you want to, but you're looking like you're failing as people. I'm tired of seeing black men look like they're failing when it comes to women, their own women. And we could take a look and say, okay, Kai, but like what about the black men that got white women? They happy. They could be happy, but did you run to her, or did you walk to her because you really wanted her? Did you get to her because she got good credit? Did you get to her because her white skin at that bank was giving you approval? You know, as soon as they see a lot of us, a lot of times they automatically say no. Yes, that still goes on today. Yes, redlining still goes on today, preventing us from owning houses. When I grew up, I knew why black men were dating the white women they were with. It was because they wanted to use them. It's disgusting, and it shows the weakness in some black men. It's very simple. I don't complicate things on my channel. You could date someone that you want for the right reasons. What comes along with that is the fact that our race connects with our own race. We are biologically engineered to be attracted to what we are familiar with. So that's why sometimes if you see a black woman dating a white guy, or a white guy dating a black woman, but he grew up, you know, in the urban community, or he grew up around black people, he'll tend to have more of a fancy for black women. You understand? Black men, sometimes the young boys, they go to football, they're doing big things, they start getting that check, and then they have a white chick next to them. You think we don't notice that, huh? Well, people talk about it more. But then you wonder, well, how did it get to that? Did they just happen to... The women be pimping their daughters out. You think they don't be scouting while your black son out there being scouted by the athletic team and coaches, right? We got the white women bringing their white daughters out there, encouraging them to get on out there. Yeah, they've done studies on that. The other thing is when black young boys are assigned into let's say they go to the NFL, or let's say they're in college, they do college ball. They take these black men usually out of their community and they bring them somewhere else. They end up rubbing elbows, partying, and doing other things with non-blacks. That makes it so much convenient for them to date a white woman because she's there. So a lot of times that's how they end up hooking up. It could be a frat party. It could be just all these other things where, yes, there's black people there at times, but there's schools that are mostly white. There's areas that they specifically kept mostly or only white. So when they come around them, and they've admitted it, they said, I date what's around. When it comes to men date what's around. I don't know why your brains don't expand more than that. I think that's kind of different. At some point, I'm going to look more into that too. Because when I speak, I'm not speaking to come like against you or come down on you. Sometimes I will, and that's my right. But I really like to understand things, and that's a lot to do with my channel. I talk about things to do with astrology and astronomy for anybody that's new. I call them astros. I talk about things to do with spirituality, energy that's inside of us. It keeps us going. I also talk about the community, mainly about melanated people. So there's over 20 of y'all here. If it says 20, that means there's probably 30 plus. So please get active in the chat. It is an open chat room. Click like. Like isn't just whether you like me or not. We're never going to like everybody. We're just humans, and a lot of you come through here and whatever kind of day you're having, you put it on the host and stuff. That's not going to bother me. My energy's too strong for that. You could click the like though if you feel like there's somebody that's trying to make connections, trying to make a difference, and wants to have engaging conversation. That's what you do that for. The subscribe button is right there. I've been getting good amount of subscribers. I'm looking to have more, so I appreciate that too. Shout out to the 200 plus people that subscribed to me in the last couple months. So that's like 100 a month. That's pretty decent. So I'll get back into their conversation, but I wanted to let y'all know where I'm coming from on it too. I do feel that by nature, you're naturally drawn to your own, and it's been proven. You see what I'm saying? Could you be in love with someone else? Yes. But there's a difference when you're just making a conscious effort to run from your own people. That's some coon-ish. And we'll continue.
And turn them into schools for our children.
Why can't we get our people to buy into that? Why can't we get our people to understand this school is a black school, but it's still a good school, and we hold more prestigious schools as an example of how I want to educate my kids. Like when I was growing up, of course I know it's black people going to HBCUs or whatever, but the thing that was the platform, like the shit was, oh man, he got a chance to go to Brown. Oh man, he got a chance to go to Yale. How do we switch that and make people want to support the educational system that we develop ourselves?
Because of 246 years of psychological indoctrination on a plantation has convinced black people that anything the white man has is better than anything we have. We still believe that. That's why we'll send our kids to a racist white private school where they're going to be miseducated, special educated, psychiatrically medicated. We will do that. Why did you send them to a white racist school knowing how your son was going?
Yo, did y'all feel that? Those were straight shots at Donell Rawlings. Y'all peeped that, right? Did y'all peep it, or you're following? I'm a New Yorker, so maybe I took a little fast, but I try to get this information into y'all. I don't believe in wasting too much time at all. Now, Donell Rawlings just told him that he sent his child to a charter school, and he sent him to a school, and the people that live there got kids that go there. That's why they know all this other stuff. So he hyping it up himself too. Plenty of people move where if they just want to go to the school, or it's usually where they work and they want to figure out the distance of the commute, so whatever. But I feel like that was somewhat of a shot at Donell because he just got done saying that's where he sent his son. And then Dr. Umar's like, why would you send your son to a racist white school? Because they feel it's better. And you see how excited he is to tell everybody, like, yeah, my son was going to. It's like, okay. I see y'all in the chat, excuse me. Oh yeah, I'll type some things in there. Okay, black people. Y'all are interesting. Y'all are funny. All right, we'll continue with some more in here.
going to be treated because we believe white people always have a better product. And the only way you change that is through what? Education. If we never take control of the education of our children, we will never be a free people. Freedom begins in the mind. And until you first establish psychological freedom, there will never be political, economic freedom. Well, we must build our own schools before we change anything else. There must be a psychological revolution, but it can be a financial revolution, social revolution, any kind of revolution. Black boys have to be taught to respect and honor Black women, and Black women have to be taught to respect and honor Black men. All of this is education. The Black community does not have its own educational paradigm, and that's why we're suffering.
I know I'm a Washington Commanders fan, and I want to give my team a chance to win. And I understand my man Joe Buttons, my man Drewski are all in the same situations I am, wanting their teams to win. So how can I get Prize Pick to help me win?
Well, obviously there's ways to play fantasy with Prize Picks,
I usually play, you know what, Donell, I'm retired. What would I need now?
If they don't get out of here, they have some strategic commercials going on. Right when you're in the midst of a great conversation, they pop up with their ad or something. If you don't get out of here. Yeah, I left a comment over there. Donell did keep cutting off Dr. Umar Johnson. That's why I said early on too, everybody just grabs a microphone now or grabs their phone and thinks that they can host something. No, that's why we have great interviewers and we have people that sit and talk and chat with you, which is no different than us sitting on the couch somewhere or sitting on the porch. So with Donell, he really has to work on that. As I watched the interview, in the comment section, you see a lot of people saying that. They was like, let him speak. They said, Unc, you got to work on that. You got to stop cutting them off. And if you do that too much, it does become annoying. So that was part of that part right there. Was there something else I was going to jump in that I saw in here? Okay. All right. Some of y'all do respond to when I say something in the chat. If you're not making much sense, I'll just leave it alone because it's pretty simple. I'm of a certain level of intelligence, but I do know how to reach down too. So if it still ain't making sense to me, it ain't making sense to me. What was I saying? Yeah. Thanks for the few more subscribers that just subscribed too. Shout out to you.
You need to get your balls right. Shit.
And Robert was also in Korea for the military as well.
NYCO.
North Korea. Helping with the 9/11 planning. There's pictures of him, fighting American soldiers in Afghanistan.
Robert?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know that part. Is that true?
100%.
It's not. You bullshit. Remember, this is a funny podcast. Yo, Robert, I know you and your product came a long way, but I know you didn't come from North Korea. But these sheets do look like something Dennis Rodman would wear. And Dennis Rodman is very partial to North Korea.
And so if you want to get your discount now on Sheath, you can go to sheath.com and use promo code Donell. That's DONNELL for 20% off. That's sheath.com, promo code Donell. Sheath.com, promo code Donell.
Don't do it for yourself. Do it for your country.
North Korea. Sheath.com, promo code Donell.
No! I did a short film some years ago, and it was basically talking about interracial relationships. And there was one scene where it was me going in, and I'm in front of 3 black women, right? And they look at me, they like, look at him. He got white clothes on. Even his clothes is white and everything. And then I remember one of them said, this was part of the scene. They said, why did you start fucking with white women in the first place? And in the script, the response was, I never heard a white woman say niggas ain't shit. Do you think in our community that black men are frustrated with the perception black women have had of men? The put downs.
Absolutely, black men are frustrated with the perception that black women have of us, but we're partly responsible for that.
How so?
I'll give you. Let me give you this one. I believe that if black men today, right now, you and I and all of our brothers, there's about 20 million African men in this country. If we would just take responsibility of the raising and the protecting and the educating and the succeeding of our boys. If we just told Black women that we are now responsible for all the boys, y'all got the girls, we got the boys.
And I'm
Even
with
if
you
don't have a man.
100%. I am 1,000.
Stay with me, Brother Donell. If we did that, I believe Black women would begin to respect Black men again. One of the biggest reasons our women are so frustrated with us, they don't see us taking responsibility for the raising of men. And in African culture, teaching boys to be men is always the responsibility of the men.
I agree with
in the
you.
village. It is never the responsibility of the women. And for me, as a school psychologist, nothing upsets me more, Brother Donell, than when I go to a community football game, I go to a community basketball game, I go to a community track meet, I go to one of these hip hop studios, nothing but Black men. They're all over the place. And then when I go to a special education meeting for his son, when I go to a report card conference, when I go to a back to school night, I can hardly find a Black father in sight. So why is it we can always be at the football and basketball games, but we can never make it inside of the school? That's why our women are angry at us.
Yeah, and I mean I agree with you wholeheartedly, but then you have this is kind of interesting. What happened in some of these broken families, whatever, when you have a man, a Black man that's trying, right? Mm-hmm. He's trying to the best of his ability, but he still gets shitted on.
Yo, somebody got me cracking up in the chat. Y'all crazy. Crazy. Every time I look, you got a new name for him. I'll say this too, which was kind of cringeworthy for me, is when I listen to a Black man complain. Actually, I'm gonna take the race out of it. Men that be like, well, what if everything's so hard? I'm just trying to go here. I'm doing the best I can. If you were doing the best you can, you're gonna get up out of whatever it is you're complaining about. Whatever funk you were in or are in, whether it has to do with dating women in your race or out your race. Man up. The difference with anyone you listen to, you'll know if they're on a good code with their Black people, is when we mostly look at our own in a positive light. There isn't much, oh man, being Black, man, I'm tired of it. That's what they really saying. See, us, we're never tired of it. We're never tired of our Africanism. People of color, do y'all get tired of being people of color? Hispanics, do you get tired of being Hispanic? Caucasian whites, do you ever get tired of being white? I'm tired. I'll just be tired of it. Yes, sometimes it's more strenuous. Yes, when you're a person of color, especially if you're Black, African. Okay? But that doesn't mean you're so tired. If you're too tired, you can't fight back. If you're so tired, how are you going to protect the women that you love, your children? See, ain't nothing worse than a tired man that's just too tired. If he is, that's why the women start stepping up more. That's why you got women out here thinking that they're supposed to have the role of men and stuff like that. That's why you get people like this going on. All this, well, I tried. Well, so what? If I like white women, I do. You can like them. But to sit and say like, dang, there's other races of women or other races of men that are better than my own, that's some sick ish. Because like I told y'all, and I'm always tell y'all, science backs this up. Our spirit on the inside backs this up. You are most comfortable, most familiar, and your frequency matches your own people. So you can say whatever you want. I know there's people that love each other in interracial relationships. That's fine. But that doesn't mean there's going to be so many great ones. There's not. And statistically, I'll help answer the question that I put in the chat. Is interracial dating a problem? It can be. And based on data, they're the least achievable relationships. The least lasting relationships are interracial relationships. You could think what you want. That's the truth. That's a fact. Let me get into a little comedy. Hopefully I'm cool with it. I wanted to show, because I saw that Donell Rawlings said something about white women. I don't know if he's serious or if he be playing. So I was like, I don't know. I guess maybe he does. He has some type of fetish or something. Let me see. Because that's the other thing. Like when people interracially date, some of us tend to wonder like, okay, is it for fetish? Like, is it a fetish thing going on? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, or is it really real? Hang on, I realized y'all couldn't hear that. All right. This is entitled I Like Basic White Chicks or white like that. White girls.
Black Lives Matter. I'm black. I feel like I should say that every 2 days, whether I believe it or not. I do Black Lives Matter anywhere. I could be in a burger spot. Let me get a burger with fries. Sir, we're all out of fries. Find some fries. Because Black Lives Matter. I abuse the race card. You can tell when a brother is about to abuse the race card because they set this off like this. Oh, I see what's going on in here. Y'all don't have no fries because I'm black. No, it's because the truck is late, sir. I realize I've been here for 3 days. There's a lot of white chicks here in Montreal. O.J. Simpson will have a field day out here because he had jungle fever. Jungle fever is interracial dating. I had jungle fever before. I had it for 2 years. I don't know where I caught it. I'm sure it was Starbucks. It had to be Starbucks. I used to go to Starbucks every morning. I used to hide behind a plastic plant. Just waiting for them to come in with them lemon Lulu yoga pants and them Ugg boots. And I used to wait for them to call a coffee order. They'd be like, double frappuccino for Amber? I'm like, oh. I had jungle fever so bad, I used to go hunting for white chicks. I used to go to the farmer's market every Sunday. 6 o'clock in the morning, I had the farmer's market outfit on. I had a baseball cap. I kept squeezing the brim, make it look like a Hootie and a Blowfish hat. I had a Bruce Springsteen t-shirt, cut off shorts. I had flip-flops, Pilates ball under one arm. I had a yoga mat on the other arm. I had a recycle bag made out of a recycle bag that was just recycled with a whole bunch of kale and gluten-free stuff. White chicks love kale and gluten-free. A year ago, I didn't even know what gluten-free meant. This dude said gluten-free. I was like, how long was he locked up, dog?
That was a good
I'm a
one.
new dad, everybody. Round of applause for that. I'm a new dad. Thank you. Well, I'm not really a new dad. I'm an old dude with a new baby. That's what I am. All my friends' kids are way older than my son, a lot older. And I realized that because I was planning my son's first birthday party, and I called one of my buddies. I'm like, yo, you think your son can come to my son's first birthday party? He was like, if he can get off work, dude. You're at the playground, we're at the liquor store. My son has 2 grandmas, an older grandma and a younger grandma. I'm older than my son's younger grandma. I can't even call her grandma. I gotta call her Mima. I'm like, what's up, Mima?
All right, so that was just a quick throwback of, well, some of what Donell was talking about. Let me switch back to where I was at for. Okay. So yeah, so those are at least some of my thoughts on that. So I was sharing some of what Dr. Umar had to say. You check out too. I have a video I did on him a couple years ago, which I have pulled up there. So I give a breakdown on who Dr. Umar Johnson is, what he means to some people, what he means to me. So that's on there. Yeah. So what was the other thing I was checking out here? Okay, I'm always back and forth with my analytics, trying to make sure everything looks right. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. So if you have any thoughts on this too, I'll be back and forth checking the chat room. Yeah, and I did switch it to subscriber only. That tends to help filter out the foolish fools that don't want to be unfoolish, because anyone can unfool, but you don't want to be, and that's your choice in life. Don't ruin it for no one else. Also, yeah, it's funny how I see certain people, and some of them you could tell they're racist because they only come around Black women's chat rooms and they say the same thing. Like I just called out the person. You can look. I'm not going to highlight them at all. I won't give them the satisfaction at all. Take a quick snip, because what's funny is people are their brains only work like so much, so they come on different people's channels, but they end up just repeating the same nonsense, and then they bring it to someone else's channel. But what you can do is you can start to see too who's getting these nonsense comments or chat room. You know what I mean? You can almost tell who's saying it, who's doing it. So it's just weird. But I know everyone has them. I was on a cat channel and people was hating on them. So people hate on everybody. So please trust and believe. I love my people. So I know a lot of y'all gonna hate on me. There's people that don't like themselves, don't like their own people. And I could be one of them too. You know what I mean? I'm one of the people they don't like. They don't like their own people. So trust me, you'll always lose. We are the greatest. You'll always lose. So yeah. So otherwise, I hope everyone is doing good and is having a good day. For anyone that wants to know too, I'm going to be working on some more African music too, African instrumentals. And I'm doing some things with my intros and outros too as well. I'll be looking at the chat room in a moment. I'll play just a little more of this that I have, and I'll play some more of some things that I've been seeing with Dr. Umar, that he's had some explosive conversations. So I'll add that in too. Dr. Johnson has a lot of charisma, and he has enough for all generations. And at times, Dr. Umar Johnson has been known to be controversial. He's very outspoken for his people. And with all intentions, his aim is to improve his community and see success in his Black people and our staying connected with our mighty continent, Africa, that consists of 54 countries to this day and over 100 languages. To not be suppressed by the systems in other areas of the world, to fight against them and educate yourself and become equipped with things that come against people just because they're Black. We have to find love for each other, being Black.
Certified school psychologist Dr. Umar Johnson spoke to Shreveport residents at Booker T. Washington High School today as a part of the Stop the Violence tour. NBC6's Shirley Busico takes us there.
We are $2 trillion people. We spend $2 billion on Air Jordans every year. We spend $4 billion.
Dr. Umar Johnson visited Booker T. Washington High School to talk about issues the Black community faces as a whole and to bring forth solutions.
Anytime someone is coming to our city that has great ideas or information that might help take our city forward and reduce our violence, I'm in and I want to hear what they got to say.
To have someone come in to help re-energize and bring back to our focus what our purpose is supposed to be, that's very important.
Johnson acknowledges the violence in the community, but says there is a deeper reason.
It is absolutely unacceptable that the Black community is being held hostage and is being terrorized by our sons. This is largely being done by young brothers under the age of 25, many of whom were victimized by the school to prison pipeline. And then that anger crystallizes into the gang activity.
But Johnson offers hope and believes there is a solution.
We have to organize, we have to galvanize, we have to mobilize. If Black people are going to be saved, Black people have to do the saving.
When I travel through Shreveport, I don't see an independent Black.
ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Over the recent years, the data shows that the numbers are growing and growing with diagnosis and medications given. Dr. Johnson has been debunking the reasoning behind it and even the symptoms that they say come with it, which seem to be normal for children of certain ages, younger ages from kindergarten and through elementary school. Dr. Johnson feels that it's being pushed purposely, and it adds divide amongst not only the children's learning, but by race. It seems to be disproportionate. Now, shout out to King Kong Consciousness, which is a YouTube channel right here on YouTube. This was just done yesterday or the other day, where Dr. Umar Johnson had some mail call-ins, and this is entitled "When Chasing a Snow Bunny Goes Wrong." I'll leave it. Wow. I didn't even hear this part just now. Y'all can feel free to chat, or y'all can hit on the bushes, but that's fine. Feel free to subscribe. You get your point across. He took her money. Oh. All right, so they were talking. I was thinking that I watched some of it. I thought maybe they was gonna touch more on the topic of the snow, like the whole like snow bunny bit, but we'll get into the other quality. What did we miss? Look, that's what he get. That's what he get. That's what we missed. Yo, that's what he get. Dr. Umar Johnson. I've been trying to tell you to slow it down. You gotta watch that, level out that lust, bruh. Level it out. You so quick to call everybody beautiful. Everybody ain't beautiful. Whatever they got on the inside, pour on out, bruh. You gotta be careful. And these days too, you should know even more that sometimes things, and then sometimes you just don't know. He's a cute boy. He's young, he look like a young man, you know what I mean? And then sometimes you don't really know. Guys are cute, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you might think it's a female and it's not, and then you'll, man, it'll be all type of stuff. But I'll continue. I didn't see this part, so I'm watching it in real time with y'all right now. You can take it. Slow down, Doc. Slow it down. I get it, but sheesh. He's like, beautiful. I can't really see you. That's what you get. Got him a woman. I know he was happy. Good Lord. Alrighty, so at least I could tell by looking at the numbers going down. Y'all couldn't hear anything. At some point, I'll get some faithful people in here so I don't fall off with something like that, because it shouldn't have done that. So I'm going to get right back in. So there was some good conversation Dr. Umar Johnson was having. He had it with young men, and then some women came in, and what they were doing was they just started talking about 50-50 relationships. So this stream is still tying into relationships. We talked about interracial relationships, things like that. And here it was. I'm going to go right back into some more of the conversation where it's responsibilities of Black men and family dynamics. So I'll pick up there where Donell Rawlings had him on as a guest, Dr. Umar Johnson. All right, just give me a moment.
He still gets spoken less of. And you have situations that I'll put it like that. I'll use Tyrese as an example. No, the trials of his life is always on, he's always on social media. But then what happens when you have that person, that person is angry in a relationship that puts a wedge between how this guy wants to raise his kids and how he want to be there for them. And he has to deal with all this bullshit with baby mamas that don't want to be supportive.
It goes back to the trauma. First of all, I believe too many of us are dating before we have healed from past trauma, post-traumatic relationship disorder. Why are you out here looking to build another family when you have not properly healed?
Because we horn dogs. We horn dogs. We like pussy.
But that's the problem, though. There still has to be spiritual discipline. Let's look at the Sphinx. The Great Sphinx of Giza in Kemet, one of the most popular archaeological symbols in the world, right? The Sphinx is a symbol of a man taking control over his nature, all of his desires, all of his impulses. And once a man is able to subdue and control his aggressions and his passions, then he can ascend to God.
But we
It
can
is
control
important
our.
for us
We can control
as
our.
much as we love our women, as much as we love them, and I love them to death. They're gorgeous.
I know,
but at
nigga.
the
I
same
see your
time,
face in
Brother
them
Donell,
pictures. I see your face in them pictures. I see you
yes,
have your
sir,
cute
yes,
face.
sir. But
I see you
Brother
have your
Donell,
cute face.
yes,
And you be
there's
acting
a
light
time.
skinned in your pictures. I seen it.
Yes, sir.
Always
There's a
with
time and a place for everything, though.
Right.
And I think too often Black men are abusing and exploiting and taking advantage of the fact that there's not enough of us to go around. Not heterosexually speaking, there's not enough of us to go around. And because Black women don't have much to choose from, we often make them suffer again by giving them whatever kind of treatment we want them to have and deal with it because we know they really don't have anything else to go to.
Amazingly enough said. Wow. That was pretty deep right there. He was discussing how the way Black women are treated is more neglectful too, because knowing that the pool of choices we have are limited. And that's interesting. And then what I do like is his honesty. We don't always get that from people because you guys feel like, hey, I got other Black men to protect or defend, or women don't speak out as much against women because they don't want to feel like, oh, well, maybe I'm going against the code or, stuff like that. But to really acknowledge it and take accountability for it is great. And that's just interesting because I was feeling like that too. I was thinking too, though, like generally speaking, I'm not sure. I'm going to look at that again, the population of male and female of other races too. So, yeah, but we do know with Black men, a lot of Black men have been incarcerated, whether wrongfully or not. In America, this isn't our original land anyway. In Africa, that would be the most Black men here. So over here is different in other places too. So Dr. Umar Johnson, as you heard, is basically saying, Black men have started, some, of course, not all, have become accustomed to somewhat treating their women a certain kind of way. Because it's like, well, who else you got? Or good luck finding a good one. And it's pretty sad. It's like kind of depressing. I don't want nobody getting depressed to hear, to have to digest that. I will definitely say that. So I would just hope that, I know that, I think more Black men will possibly like step up more, possibly have things going on that we can congregate with people that do care about one another as a people and can possibly share some healing and love between each other, because that's what's going to conquer all of this. All right, I'll continue now. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna read the comment. I'm gonna finish.
We are abusing the very creation that the white power structure has put in our community. We're using it to our advantage against our women, and it's not fair.
I know this is a crazy question. I'm right now, and I know you like Black. In my special, I say you're the Black person. You have never, ever experienced a hot tool situation from a white woman.
When I was in college,
I knew it, son.
I had a classmate.
I knew it, son.
Who was
I knew it was a
attracted to me.
college. I knew it. Okay, go ahead. Get to it.
Okay. She was attracted to me, and she was attractive, and she was built like a Black woman. She had the hips, everything.
Right.
And she was very much attracted to me. I remember when I went to the Million Man March.
Pause. I've been noticing people say that a lot, built like a Black woman. What is built like a Black woman? If I was to ask regular people, do you know, I think most people wouldn't be able to explain that. They'd be like, what do you mean? It depends. Who are you talking about? If you want me to describe her, I can't describe all Black women. Yes, the butts are more rounded and our skin is just different. But other than that, there's some people that have round butts. The butts sit up higher. They're not long like what, other races, their butts tend to be longer. Their torsos are also longer. I can get down to the anatomy of different races, but I'm not going to do that right now. So sometimes it's like it's a compliment, but then at the same time it's like, okay, but can you stop generalizing all Black women, because we're definitely not all built the same, and we're not supposed to be. There's all different variations. Now, maybe in original time when we were more pure Black, possibly because from my studies, the bodies were way more elongated. All Africans were tall and slender. So I know he's a bit of a historian himself. I'm a bit of a historian. We were always long and slender. So, I mean, I don't know. Now you're saying now everybody's got thick, but like, just stop. I honestly, and I'm gonna let it play. I honestly am tired of men. You guys talk about us like we're meat. You guys size us up all the time. We're gonna start sizing you guys up. I don't mind seeing some of y'all bodies a little something anyway, to be honest. But I just want to see, like, let's size y'all up. Like, okay, do you have man boobs? Oh, okay, the usual at a certain age. Okay, do you have gut? Do you have this? Do you have that? Are you tall? Are you short? If we really started getting down to the anatomy with y'all wouldn't even know how to handle it. Y'all wouldn't. That's why some of y'all left now. Oh, well, you're still going to hear it. You're still going to hear it. So let's continue.
The first one, October 16th, 95.
You took a white girl to the Million Man March. Oh, Lord, please don't tell me that. I'm hanging this goddamn thing up. No, don't tell me that. Farrakhan would not fuck with you right now. God, no. All right, okay.
I don't think it was no snow bunny. It was no snow bunny.
You knew it was a snow bunny. You knew it was a snow bunny.
No. But there was some snow bunnies at some of them follow-up Million Man.
And I'm gonna tell you something, Umar. This is what I want to get to too. I know how you feel about that.
But hold on, let me answer that though, brother. Right. Let me answer. So when we came back from the Million Man March, she put a card on my desk, and I didn't see her put it on my desk. I went up to talk to the professor, psychology class. When I came back, there was a card, and it's a white school, so most of my classmates was white. Right. I said, "Did y'all see who put the card here?" They said, "No." She didn't care if they saw it.
Right.
I opened up the card, and all this glitter popped out all over.
Yes.
She was honoring me for taking the initiative of going to the Million Man March, right? Which I thought was, commendable. But what I had to explain to her and other white women since then who have shown a romantic interest in me.
And don't put the apple slices in the potato salad, right?
I respect you.
Okay.
But I am 100% committed to and loyal to the Black woman. So you and I can never have anything sexually or any other way, because as a freedom fighter, I cannot create family with anything but a Black woman.
She should have did it, boy. Freedom fighters. I'm talking about the ones that was in the front line. I'm talking about the chicks that was in the Peace Corps and spent time in Africa. What about those white chicks? Because can any white chick ever get a pass?
At the end of the day, brother Donell, at the end of the day, and you need to understand this.
I don't want to understand it.
All Caucasians.
You, Katie.
All Caucasians are racist.
Oh,
they may not be. Stay with me. I want you to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that all Caucasians are bigots.
But do we have time to worry about?
I don't believe every white person thinks they're better than Black people. I don't believe every white person wants to exterminate Black people. I don't believe every white person think we came from jungles and animals, and I don't think every white person believes that. But I do know that all Caucasians appreciate and are willing to protect the white privilege that they receive as a result of Black oppression. And there has never been a Caucasian in history that has fought to eliminate white privilege. And we need to understand that. So no matter how much a white woman may like me, at the end of the day, she is the beneficiary of my oppression.
Question, Dr. Umar, have you ever heard of Tipu Tip?
Tiku, who is that?
Tipu Tip.
I don't think so. Is that a person or
a thing? Is that a person or a thing? There's a snow bunny crisis going on. Snow bunny crisis. Third time. Snow bunny crisis. Leave the white women alone. Nah, but the guy that chimes in, which is per usual, shout out to the man on MSN. I'm gonna pull him up. too, because he's a white interviewer. He's a white man that works for MSNBC, and he's awesome. And he can talk with folks about race issues, all of that. And he lets you speak. He's not bringing you on the show to give you pushback. He's here to listen. And he does his own research, and because he combines his information with yours. Now on this, which is more typical, you have the guy in the background on it. It was like a white woman, white guy there, right? So the white guy had to chime in. He was like, well, do you know of so-and-so? And he says, well, I don't understand, because sometimes the stuff you say, he's basically telling Dr. Umar, I'll break it down. Is he adding divide? He dates a black woman. Like, what's, we love each other. Da, da, da. So he's going to get into that. But the whole thing is this: you can't change someone's mind as a scholar, and they have it backed up, but not just what they learned, what they feel. You can't change someone's soul. And I've noticed that when we engage, or when people have engaged online or whatever with Caucasian people, and you're speaking on good points to empower and elevate black people, they always tend to come in and they're the ones adding divide, but they'll look at you and discuss the topic like, wow, you're adding divide. It's like, how? By realizing what's really going on and what we should strategically do about it. But then they're like, well, there was other people that helped black people. It's always what about? These are the people that don't believe in black folks. These are the people that are non-black. They don't really get it. And I don't even know if they're really trying to get it. So I just wanted to say that, and here he goes.
Yeah, Tipu Tip was actually the largest slave trader in all of history. He was actually a black man, and
Okay.
what he would do is he would go in the forest and he would tell people, hey, do you want to find some ivory? We bring this to the coast. We're going to get all these riches. And then right when he get to the coast, he'd trap them in Zanzibar. Do you feel like in a certain sense, when you have these divisions between white and black and we make things about race, that it's all it does is just divide and make things worse and worse? And then
if we want to heal the divide between black and white, we have to heal that divide in every sector of society and not just in social interaction. And what I mean by that is to say, if we want to heal the divide, when are American Africans going to get our portion of the share of America's wealth that our ancestors built for free? If we want to heal the divide, when are we going to get our portion of the banking industry, our portion of the resources, our portion of the land? If we want to heal the divide, it just can't be healed in the bedroom. It has to be healed in the society. And once we begin healing society in every aspect of life in this country, then we can talk about it. But normally, when we have conversations about healing the racial divide, they're limited to social interaction. That means nothing that you and I can sit down and have a respectable conversation. It means nothing that you and I can sleep in the same hotel or eat at the same restaurant. What about the political power? What about the unfair distribution of economic power? What about the unfair opportunities that exist in this society? What about the unfair criminal justice laws that send black people to jail much, much longer for white people than white people, even though they committed the same crimes? We have to deal with that. Why are black boys being suspended and expelled out of America's public and charter schools way more than white boys for the same crimes? We can heal the divide, but we can't be hypocritical, and we cannot limit this to romance and social interaction.
So then what can we do to then make something that heals the divide instead of create a system where like people get hoodwinked and tricked and it feels like more of the same, where we just are like one big Orwellian 1984 circle?
We don't want that shit. We want to be managed by white people.
The best thing that America could do, the best thing that white society could do to begin to heal the racial divide is to redistribute the wealth of this country to ensure that black people received their just portion.
All right, Omar.
Until there is a redistribution of the wealth, so that we get not only what our ancestors were due, but what we are currently due as well. That is the first step to healing the divide. Anything short of a redistribution of the wealth is pure hypocrisy.
That's far-fetched.
So what is that?
So once again, Donell can't keep his composure. It's almost like his mind is always waiting on the next question while Dr. Umar is talking. He's waiting on the next question to be like, well, how come, with black men, how come, what are we supposed to do with these women? How come, what could, when you got people like that, they ain't listening. Because if they would even listen a little, A lot of times we already give you information before you ask the next question. We done answered it. We done gave you more information in what we just said. You're not letting it stick to them ribs. That's why you still hungry. You out here starving. That's why the righteous ones are always taken care of. They're always good. And it goes beyond money. It's other kind of support. It goes beyond all of that. So I noticed after watching this interview that I didn't realize just how much Donell Rawlings doesn't really, and I'm not saying he doesn't like his black people, but he's not that fond of them. He said people were calling him white and stuff. And I'm like, this is probably why. Because other than that, he's not like a white. I wouldn't say, oh, he wants to be white, or I don't get that from him. But it's interesting because you can see through conversation who really believes in their own people or not. Because when you do have faith, you have a faith in your people, you believe in your people. It won't be all of them. That's not with any race. But by majority, or at least with your help of implementation of information and resourcefulness and being there for people and in a community or whatnot, how are you going to make a change if you're part of the naysayers? You walk around in the black skin, right? In the melanated skin, but you're part of the naysayers. You don't believe. So he doesn't really believe in too much. Also, I'm going to remove that for a moment. And also, Dr. Umar had mentioned something before. I heard him say it multiple times, but he doesn't like talk about it much. But he said not one celebrity has donated to him for the school. And even if somebody says, well, he got that school 5 years now, still not open. They've never donated to him before at all. Now, this man has been doing stuff before this, been doing occasions, speaking arrangements, engagements, whatever, all that type of stuff. But to know that you still were not supported financially by celebrities, and a lot of people know him, and stuff like that. But then it's like, it just stopped. So I said, stop. It never began. So that's another thing that, that's another point that, I don't know, I just look at that too, because some people don't believe in him. And then some people may feel like, well, he need to be doing more of what he already had. I don't know all their reasoning, but I know that's partly part of it. So I don't know, it's just pretty interesting. But yeah, he definitely fights against ADHD diagnoses too. For those of y'all that don't know, or to reiterate, over the past recent probably decade or so, ADHD has been planted on children a lot. They may not even have it. The school is going to say, yeah, your kid got this, got that. See, with certain learning disabilities, the family gets a check every month. So some people just sit around. They just be like, they just get the check. And the schools get extra money too. The more you have for special ed classes, special teaching and things like that. So a lot of it is part of just a money grab. And that's why Dr. Umar Johnson really wants to have the school, get it up and running. This is why he speaks the way he does. And he feels that not only are youth targeted too much, Black youth are extra targeted, and it will affect a lot of people's lives because of that, their lives. Pushed on Black children. One of Dr. Johnson. So this is a video I did a while back. Quote, some information. White women miseducate our children, then get white husbands to lock them up when they're done. End of quote. That's heavy. That's real heavy right there. Pseudoscience, where they're keeping things a certain way, but to exclude Black people. Dr. Johnson's efforts are to put an end to these type of things. He's also the founder and president of the National Independent Black Parent Association, which is an organization in efforts to fight against the education system and the academic systems that are racially divided and disproportionated.
Parents, start thinking before you get your child tested for special ed. And let me be the first to tell you, if you're the parent of a special ed child, that child is not likely to graduate with a high school diploma. I hope you listen, because some of you are so quick to sign your child up for an IEP incarceration education plan because you don't want to make them learn. You know that boy can learn how to read, but he don't want to, and you got better things to do. Can you test my son? What grade he in? Second. Damn. He only been in school 2 years. There's nothing worse than when I get a referral for a child 4th grade or younger. It's the worst eval. It's trifling. I think my son got a reading disability in kindergarten. He got ADHD in 1st grade. Every boy got ADHD in 1st grade. Speaking of ADHD, let me read you the criteria if you think I'm exaggerating. Because I've had people say Dr. Umar is exaggerating. My child has ADHD and I gave him the medicine and the medicine worked. The medicine worked for who?
So some of the medication that the children are given is a form of sedation. It just makes them kind of dumb out. It calms them down, but they're not able to really be themselves. I don't think that there should be anything to where we should want to totally control a child's behavior. Let them be them. Unless it's something medical and something really serious, then you may need extra aid for it. But other than that, you're disrupting the child's childhood, and learning experience. So that is pretty crazy. That's some of the content that I did on my video on Dr. Umar Johnson, which was dedicated to him. I did it during Black History Month. It was called Dr. Umar Johnson. I guess that was it. Yeah, Black History Month, Dr. Umar Johnson. Actually, I'm gonna change the title again to that. Okay, yeah. So there that goes. What else was I saying? I remember some of his most recent interviews too that I was watching was with rapper Lil Yachty. It's spelled like Yachty, but Lil Yachty. They did a pretty good. They went over some pretty good stuff, and it was good to see a lot of the youth interested in Dr. Umar Johnson, and I'm seeing that like at a growing rate as well. Yeah, so it's entitled Lil Yachty presses Umar Johnson over snow bunnies. Oh my gosh, over snow bunnies. Okay, hang on a second. And then I'm gonna slow it on down because it will be about done. Okay. Especially when I ain't got no more lights coming in here. I ain't trying to
for the rest of my life. That's where I'm going to hang.
Part of it was because of volume.
Even if I never did that, and I will. But even if I didn't, how many Black women stopped cooking their hair, thereby saving themselves from getting brain cancer and fibroid tumors through weaves and perms? How many Black women stopped doing that because of me? I want 100% nappy. Nappy. If I cannot grab your hair, I don't need you. How many Black men stopped bunny hopping and went back to their Black women because of me?
I like white women. How do I change? It's no hope for you, brother. Go ahead and stay with her. You have been excommunicated from the African community. Okay, bunny hopper, you have been excommunicated from the African community.
How many Africans around the world have come to Pan-Afrikanism because of me? If I've never built the school, my contribution to the global African struggle is unquestioned. I don't know of another Pan-Africanist who's done what I've done or have the following and love around the world that I do since Marcus Garvey. I'm the Sean Carter of this conscious thing. I'm the Floyd Mayweather of this conscious thing. Nobody between Garvey and me has the love, the following, the impact, and the influence. Say again.
Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King wasn't a Pan-Africanist. So we're talking global activists. Don't get me wrong, Dr. King was known all around the world and loved all around the world, but his work was not global in nature. And that's not a criticism, because Dr. King is a hero of mine. And I think sometimes he gets a bad rap from Black people who try to blame him for integration. Dr. King was already in the grave when integration came. I'm a Dr. King fan. Can't nobody say anything to me about Dr. King.
Do you believe it's true he was fucking white women?
Like bunny hopping and stuff?
He might have been a bunny hopper. I haven't seen evidence of it. I've only heard the allegations. Do I agree with the bunny hopping? No. Does that diminish his contribution? Absolutely not. My ancestor, Frederick Douglass, who's my 4 times great-grand cousin, him and my 4 times great-grandfather, Stephen Henry Bailey, spent their childhood together. He married a white woman after his first wife, Queen Mother.
All right, so he's giving examples of how some of his black heroes did interracially date, interracial marriage as well. Yeah, that should be interesting. I think I remember you from. I know where you're from. Yeah, okay. Some people I'll be trying not to interact with. I'll be sure who they are. But yeah, he does have something coming up, 20 versus him or something. Even in the comment section under that video where he says, hey, should I go on this show? There's a woman in there, and I'm sure there was more, that said, if you go on that show, I'm not going to take you seriously. So there's a lot of people he may lose if he goes on the show, because they're going to be like, all right, you doing too much. Like, you doing too much now. Yeah, so that'll be something. So I think, yeah. But we'll see, because like I said, too, in closing, bottom line, too, is interracial relationships don't work out for the most part. Some can, yeah, sure. But most of them don't. You can look it up. The statistics show whose relationships last and whose don't. Also, the LGBTQIA, their relationships don't last either. I'm not picking them apart. I'm going by the statistics. So that's what's going on with that. So the answer is plain and simple. A lot of things aren't meant to be. You'll know if it is or not. You'll know. So I do look at that and depend on that, even when it comes to just decision making on type of things. It's just a whole different field. But it's up to everyone to fill out who they're dating, basically, anyway. And if you're dating for the right reasons, there really isn't much of a wrong. You got to date for the right reasons and really feel each other. Then people, what can other people, what can somebody else really come along and say, at the end of the day? But I don't know. Some of y'all be making very generalized comments like about black women. You feel that they're different and they're the only ones that try to date rich men. If that's the case, why do you see least black women with rich guys? That's why I know that you guys watch videos like music videos. You're watching things that don't really exist. You're not looking at the data. And I think a lot of information that comes through my chat room, you guys are only watching YouTube. You guys are only looking at fools that make comments about this when you have to expand your horizon and look stuff up for yourself to gain a better understanding. I hear the strangest stuff about, even if you're talking about a white woman, and if you're saying something that's just wrong, it's like, that's still wrong. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not benefiting from changing your mind. I'm benefiting from changing your mind if it's the right thing. And that's all I give here. I try to do my best of giving you the right information. So, yeah, so that's that. My stream kind of went a little downward there was a while where it was on, the audio wasn't coming through. And I don't know why that happened again. So I'm going to have to just really stay on it with the audio. Something I shouldn't have to do, but I guess I do. StreamYard. So, yeah, that'll be it. And, yeah, I'm going to close on out. At some point, too, maybe further down the road, it would be good to get a panel going, try that out, or I may do a call-in show, or something like that. One or the other. Sometimes maybe, when things get going more too, we can do either or. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it. I appreciate y'all. That was just a glimpse of the Snow Bunny and Snow Bunny Crisis conversation. I will be heading back into this type of conversation stuff too. And it's a good segue for us to talk about other things too that have to do with people of the community and people outside the community, how we see each other, but having an open, honest conversation of how we really feel. And that's what I encourage here. I encourage open-mindedness. Whether you feel have a small brain function or a larger one, your views are welcome here. So I encourage people to share their thoughts. I encourage you to hit the like button. I encourage you to subscribe. You won't regret it. Okay. and participate. Participation is big. I also have a Cash App, which is listed there. It's $. It's not right there, but $KIYNY007. Also PayPal, KIYNY0077 @gmail.com. Okay, so I thank y'all, and I'll look at the chat room again, and appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a good day. Oh, you have something coming up tomorrow, a little later at night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific p.m. tomorrow. That'll be some footage of Cassie and Diddy enjoying themselves. We'll put it like that. Having a wild time. So there's things like that, and then some things that I just kind of want to pull apart. I have my different view on Diddy and what he did and didn't do. So I think a lot of his accusations are exaggerated and it's ridiculous. And until people really push for the facts, you could be next. Any man could be next. Don't just think they're coming for celebrities. Yeah, they want celebrity money and status. But what about the average Joe, which I don't look at men that aren't celebrities as average. You're just a man that's not on TV, or you don't have a certain celebrity status, but you have another status. What about y'all? What about women that can come out lying on y'all? What about women that can go through something and exaggerate it, and then everybody just takes it and runs with it? Yes, I do think that we saw the video, so he's guilty of some things. But what about all these allegations and all these people and all this and that? So we're going to have a little more of an intimate late night dope conversation with that. And that'll be coming up. I'll actually pull up my banner for that. Can I get that up right now? Where are we at? Okay. Let me pull this one up first. All right, so that was my Dr. Umar Johnson. And the Snow Bunny Crisis. I believe this is my latest thumbnail for the one coming up. They keep telling me, girl. And the live stream I did just before this is only about 15 minutes long. But for those that don't know, there's breaking news earlier that the deputy mayor, Sheena Wright, has resigned. So this just comes, a week or two after Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on some charges. So this was pretty interesting how just people are just resigning left and right. And then also in the latest news, they have arrested another person that belongs to their administration. So this was all news. It just hit early this afternoon, I would say. It just hit. Yeah, welcome to New York. So we got that. So I did a video on that showing some footage of basically some of what they were talking about with that situation where the reporters pulled up on her too, and then she got physical with one of them, and she was like, "Hey, this is too much." But yeah, so she resigned. So there's a lot of things going on in politics. Well, everywhere, right? We got the war going on. We got Afghan. We got the Jewish. We got Israel. It's a lot. Palestine. A lot. A heck of a lot. Hang on. So actually, can I just? All right, let me screen share real quick. I can show my page. It's my channel right here. And I'll read the poll before I go so I can see we got almost 30 votes in. It's pretty good, I guess. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, wait, it's not showing? Oh, okay, because this is up there. There's so many little buttons to move and add to your screen. It's like, come on. So this one we're on now with the bunnies. Tomorrow, as you can see, we got the Cassie and Diddy Forgotten Files. Do we suppress our desires? So I posed a question to everyone, like, are you suppressing what you really desire? You know, some people are into kinky things. Some people are not. You know, I think everyone should have a safe word, possibly, depending on how far you're going with things, you know. So anyway, that'll be tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern. That's what I'm planning for. And around 7 p.m. Pacific. So those are plans for that. I wanted to show what I did. Also, so I'll pull that up in a minute. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and start my outro. Greetings.
Mohammed Mahi submitted his resignation.
Resign amid ongoing federal investigations. And we just learned another member of the Adams administration has been arrested. News 4's Tracy Strahan joins us live from Lower Manhattan with all the breaking news here. Tracy.
Well, Mohammed Mahi submitted his resignation just yesterday, and about 30 minutes ago, federal prosecutors announced that he is now under arrest.
So that was some of the footage of Sheena Wright. And then she kind of got into it with somebody. We'll be talking about some more of that as the days go on, because I'm pretty sure we're going to have more information. And the news media even said, so those are the ones for now. There was like possibly more to come. So they're expecting possible more resignations and or arrests. So that's where we're at with things now. So again, my name is Kyan Y007. If you're new, expect to see you back, hopefully, right? And you're welcome here. Your thoughts are welcome here. Just try to keep them, respectful. It's basically the way at least some of the way you want to be treated yourself. So that's what I do here. Community, spirituality, sexuality, and astros. Astros is astronomy and astrology that I enjoy speaking on. So that concludes this. And thanks for participating, y'all, too. The ones that did actually participate, very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Oh, yeah, so let me look at the poll that I did. All right, so let's see. And then I'll show you on the screen. Oh, can you see it? Not really. Can you see it? All right. Is interracial dating a problem? Something that doesn't work out. All right. So it's neck and neck with yes, and I don't really care. So 35% of y'all say yes, interracial dating is a problem, something that doesn't work out. The least votes were saying no, that interracial dating is not a problem. So they're saying no. Hold on, let me read it again. Is interracial dating a problem, something that doesn't work out? 35% of y'all say yes. So you're saying yes, it is a problem, doesn't work out. Is interracial dating a problem, something that doesn't work out? No. So a small percentage, which is 27%, said no. 38% of y'all said I couldn't care less, do you think? So that's where we are with that. And I appreciate y'all votes, appreciate y'all coming through. Participation is welcome here, and it really helps out, helps the channel, and it can help you too, because it's not just about my channel, it's you sharing, exchanging information. I add infotainment here on my channel, and when the energy is right, which is what I tend to give here, you'll feel it, and it'll be a good feeling. I don't leave people feeling no other kind of way. That's weird. So yeah, that's it. See y'all back possibly tomorrow for some Diddy. You look like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it. I ain't on your back though like everybody else. I'm not. Diddy, I'm not. I'm really not. All right, so we'll close on now. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day. Take care.
How do you sure, motherfucker?
That's you, motherfucker. Mind your tongue.
You talk to me.
I'll slap you, you idiot.
Get out of here. You bang your bloody god.
Yeah. If you want to go, then you go to hill and go down.
Why you get fired,
man? Are you crazy? You're fucking
fired,
You are fucking.
you fucking, you bloody.
You bloody.
You bloody. Bastard bitch.
You
Fuck you. Bloody fuck you, bloody. Fucking mother bloody fuck bitch.
Bitch, you
bloody fuck you. Fucking bloody bastard.
We're gonna.
Benchwood bloody.
Benchwood, you
bloody. Hey, what do you say? Don't talk to me like this.
Did you abuse
Don't.
me?
So again, hope to see you back. I do Sundays, which is chocolate Sundays that I do here. And for Wednesdays, what Wicked Wednesdays? And that'll be tomorrow.
Hey, don't fuck with me. Hey, you bang your bloody god.
Get out of here.
Bloody god.
Get out of here.
Oh.
Get out of here.
Oh.
Did you abuse me?
Don't abuse me.
I'll have to...
Spit that ass. Spit that ass. Spit that ass. Spit that ass. When you start walking, my friend, and you get 10, 15 miles on the highway, you won't be spitting that ass. You'll be half dead by the time you get there.
Damn, what was that? That was fun. Damn. So that's a moth. God damn it. Fuck out of here. Really is. What's this in here? All right, there we go. All right, so there it is.